안녕하세요, 여러분. Today, I'm going to illustrate to you how to write Korean syllables. But first, you have to master the Korean alphabet. So on the left side of the screen, you would see the consonants. On this side of the screen are the vowels. You have to know the vertical vowels and the horizontal vowels, so you would know how to write Korean syllables properly. Okay, so as you see on the board, you would see how Korean syllables are written. So the first type is consonant vowel, which is written from left to right or from top to bottom. The other type of syllable is consonant vowel and final consonant, which is written from left to right and then down, or from top to bottom. To give you an example or to illustrate this, let's take for example the name of a member of the BTS, Jimin. So his name is, in English, it's written as Jimin. Okay? So let's get the syllable G first. We get the equivalent of J, which is Jiot. So we write it like this. And then we get the equivalent sound of E, which is E in Korean. And since E is a vertical vowel, we have to write it next to Jiot. So it should be written here. And this is this consonant vowel style. So written from left to right. Now let's go to the next syllable, which is min. Okay. So let's get the equivalent sound of M, which is mium. So it should be written here, like this. And the next we get the equivalent sound again, which is E. And we have to write it again next to mium because it's a vertical vowel. Now, the equivalent sound of N is niun, and it should be written below because it is the final consonant sound. So it should be written that way. So now you have Jimin. Okay, for another example, let's write in Korean the name of Kim Namjoon. Okay, so first we get the equivalent sound of K, which is Kiok. And then we get the equivalent sound of I, which is E in Korean. E is vertical vowel, so it should be written next to Giok. And this is the consonant vowel syllable. But since we have a final consonant, we have to write it under this, which is mium. So we now have Kim. So consonant, vowel, final consonant sound, which is this one. Now for nam, we get the equivalent sound of N, which is nian. And then a is a vertical vowel. So it should be written next to nian. And then the final consonant, as always, should be at the bottom. So we write it here. So you can see final consonant sound is always at the bottom. Now for the syllable Jun, the equivalent sound of J is Jiet. Now since U in Korean is a horizontal vowel, then we write it under the consonant. And then the final consonant sound N, which is Nian in Korean, should be written under. So now we have Kim Namjoon. Now, if you have any questions, you can write your questions at the comments. And for our next episode, we will be discussing double consonants and double vowels. 다음에 또 만나요, 여러분.